Oh man, oh man, oh man. Christmas has come and gone, and I'm gonna need some tech guys because I got myself. I got all kinds of new gadgets and voice sounds and things I want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, before I call on tech resident Tom Dickinson to give me a tutorial on how to make the Going Over podcast a little bit better. Welcome to episode 113 of the Going Over podcast. It is I, your neighborhood friendly coach, trainer, promoter, 44-year-old professional wrestler. And the last time you will see that picture behind me, the location will remain the same as I kick it over to my podcast partner, as always, the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora, and I am primetime. I am discombobulated trying to figure out this textual, is it textual, homotextual stuff over here.
Oh, we should have started the podcast 37 minutes ago while you were messing around with all that stuff. You're like, can you hear me? You're like talking into the microphone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me through this microphone?
Covered in wires.
What am I putting this on? Can I get these on?
The best part. I was connected in wires, but the best part is I could hear through here. I've got sounds, man. I've got sound buzzers to play anytime I want now. We got a well done. We got, oh no, answer. What an answer. We got the whistle. We got the shout, the hysteria, the guffaw. Look that up online. Guffaw, ladies and gentlemen. Applaud, slaps, amazing, air kiss, and embarrassed. And you know damn well I'm not going to be hitting that fucking embarrassed button very much on my end. Definitely 100%. How was your Christmas, sir? We're gonna this thing we do. How was that Christmas?
It was fantastic. We have our yearly tradition. We go to church Christmas Eve as a family. So my wife, all of our kids, we have our in-laws, some of my wife's aunts, uncles, all types of stuff. So we've got a big crew that goes to church on Christmas Eve, and we have a Christmas Eve dinner with everybody involved.
I have to go. I have a story for you, but I'll be back in 5 seconds. Give me a quick intermission real quick.
Heck yeah, man. Quick intermission. I'm not sure if you've got the green apple quick step. Sometimes that happens to me where you eat some bad food and all of a sudden.
Hectic.
The what?
Oh man, it's just been rough. I know the millions and the millions want to hear us talk about professional wrestling, but my dad didn't go to the in-laws for Thanksgiving dinner. He just wasn't feeling it. So then I had 2 plates made, 2 big Tupperwares made. The homemade mac and cheese and the sweet honey drizzled ham was mine. And I had him a massive one made too. And I came home and I explained to him, I said, the one with the mac and cheese and the ham is mine. The other one's yours. I went to bed pretty early. As I woke up, I went to eat my mac and cheese and my ham. And that Tupperware was not there. It was gone. He ate it. He didn't hear me. And today was just a little rough. I went promoting with Ethan Reno. You ever wake up in one of those days and you go, man, this one ain't the business. I made it out there in town. Nothing was open yet. The bank wasn't even open yet. I came back home, laid on my bed for a little bit, started a movie, and I said, man, I'm going to have to restart. I'm going to have to restart. And I'm going to have to ask you to restart your story because as I needed to take that break, the second we started this podcast, the TV went on really, really loud in there because I didn't give the podcast warning. So I'm all over the place today, but I'm ready to talk about wrestling. I'm coming off a wild Christmas. It's been a wild 2026. my fucking thing. I couldn't figure it out. I thought I was just going to walk in here and no more headset with this headset. And we were just going to start going with this microphone and talking about wrestling. And then, and it just didn't seem to work on your end. So you could hear the noises. That was my most excited part, was just to hit noises on your ass all day.
Perfect. I can't wait till that happens. It'll be all the good stuff. You said you're going to, every time I say, you're going to buzz me. So I'm sure that that's going to be, it'll be a bunch of times throughout the podcast.
I'm gonna hit the slap button.
That's it, man. We have we've got our traditions, man, where we got the church the day before, Christmas Eve. We have a dinner with all of our family and friends, multiple people. We open gifts from those people and to those people. Pajamas. We have family pajamas. So just a really cool, cool little gig, man, that we put together. So
family pajamas. I see all those pictures, man. Grinch mode. Welcome to Grinch mode. Everyone's wearing matching pajamas. Too bad we couldn't get tag teams in Northern California wrestling or across the United States to wear matching gear, right? Like we can get families of 10 to wear matching pajamas and come together for the evening or the morning and take beautiful, we're in sync family pictures wearing the same shit, but we can't get two guys that say they want to do this for a living to find matching gear to be a tag team. What the fuck has the world come to?
I guess it's just more important for my family to be dressed in all the same stuff on Christmas Eve than it is for people that want to be a tag team to get matching gear. But we
talk about that a lot.
Oh, of course, man. It's always I don't know. It's just a topic of conversation, man. It's people that want to be wrestlers but don't want to do the stuff that it takes to be wrestlers.
Tag team wrestling.
That's it, man. Yeah, we just had a good Christmas, man. We had stages of people come over. We have our immediate family with the kids and my wife and I first thing Christmas morning. Then we have some people kind of come in noontime exchanging gifts, and then we've got people come over a little bit later where we've got dinner, and we had ham as well, man. We had that spiral cut honey ham. I was gonna say mashed potatoes, but it wasn't. It was cheesy potatoes, au gratin of some sort. We had some. What else did we have? We definitely had the cheesecake with the strawberries. That's always my favorite. And
coconut cream pie. Coconut cream pie, amazing.
We didn't have any of that. We definitely had peppermint chocolate chip cookies. My daughter went to school for culinary. Went to the culinary academy at her high school, so she's amazing baking goods. So yeah, we had a good Christmas, man. It was good times. We're getting ready to tomorrow, which will be Saturday. But days before this podcast comes out, we're going to San Diego for a basketball tournament. So we'll be there for several days. Get to visit some friends down.
When does this podcast come out? Monday, right?
This one will come out on Monday.
And what is Monday? Monday is what date is it?
Monday is
discombobulated with the holiday season.
Yeah, the 29th. Monday the 29th. Yeah, so we'll be creeping up on New Year's. I'll be back in town around that New Year's.
So Tuesday's the 30th, Wednesday's the 31st, Thursday. Oh, that's right, because January 2nd, we kick off the year with the first PCW Prospects. The Future is back, ladies and gentlemen. And then January 3rd on that Saturday, we kickstart the official year following that with Kickstart in Red Bluff. I'm excited, man. I'm very excited about the way these cards are coming together. I'm very excited about this company. I'm very excited about your company. I'm very excited about Ugly's company. I'm very excited. There's the shout out for you, Big Ugly. The quick shout out that we talk about. Now, you know,
The only reason that he talks about the podcast is because we shout him out.
oh, you know what, man? It's so nice, you know, me and you over a year ago. We've been talking before that, but all the talking we did to be able to put it here, and now all the talking that I do with Big Ugly, and all the talking I get to do with Oliver John, and I'm just starting to see everything mesh together. And one thing I'm really noticing, man, is you know, from SPW to the Ugly Dojo to Next Level Pro Wrestling to East Bay Pro to West Coast Pro, you know, just those come to mind because I see them a lot on my feed. Excuse me. Is everybody said, man, it was the biggest year we had, you know? SPW said it was the biggest year we had, the most successful year that we've had. I saw that, and they said we did this many shows in 2025. We're planning. They released all the names and the dates of their shows for all 12 months at the soccer soccer world in Elk Grove, and they said we're gunning for 30 this year. You know, and that was the thing. I think the most we done in a year was like 17, and I think this year we're already slotted at like 32. But to see all these companies, including your company, to know like John's back with WCWF, he's going to be doing one a month over there from the building. But to see all these people that are actually saying it was their best and most successful year, and 2026, it's going to be bigger and better. It seems everybody is motivated and ready to go.
That's exciting, man. I mean, we talk about how many different promotions there are out there and how much work there is for everybody, and that it kind of waters down the product a little bit. But regardless, it is exciting that there is opportunities out there for people to get out there and work, and hopefully that leads to some interesting matchups where you have people from different schools getting to wrestle each other. You know, I'm excited for our January show with Ethan Reno and Bishop Dorian. I don't know if that's happened before, but I'm excited to see what's kind of the future of the you know, our NorCal pro wrestling scene looks like. Get a little snapshot of what it looks like early on, and hopefully we get to kind of revisit it down the road a little bit and see how far these two guys have come. So, you know, you versus Timothy Thatcher in 2026. You got Ugly versus Boyce in 2026. Lots of interesting matchups, things that probably we haven't seen before. So, I mean, it is just one of those things where things are looking up, and exciting matchups, you know, that we can kind of look forward to seeing, and hopefully that blossoms into other things where you go, oh, well, you know, who else I haven't seen wrestle each other is these guys. So hopefully that, you know, those things, you know, just blossom into other bigger things that happen as well.
Well, you talk about that. That's what I'm really excited about. I'm excited to see Bishop and Reno all pro. I'm excited to see that because Bishop just sprouted up, didn't he? Like, I don't know if you've seen him lately, but he's bigger than his dad. He's huge, man. And I don't mean like out of shape huge. I mean, the kid hit a fucking growth spurt. He's the size of Reno. Like, those two are very comparable. And both those guys, both those kids, sorry, because they're kids, because 18 and I think Bishop's like 16 or 17. So you are getting a good look at what the future is going to look like. And there's so many of them, man. There's so much young talent. SPW's got a couple handfuls coming out of there. I know I got a couple handfuls and a half coming out of here. Ugly's got a couple handfuls and a half. You know, Next Level's putting out some products. West Coast Pro. We talked about it all, but there's so much talent coming out. And the best part about that talent coming out is there's the right people on the same page around them, and so many of the right eyes on these guys, and it feels like everybody's, whether they're best friends or not, they're coming together. I had talked to somebody on the phone on Christmas who was telling me about, other people talking shit about old Zack. You know what I mean? Saying that I was white trash, I was a redneck, I was a hillbilly, a good old boy, and all this stuff. And I was like, well, I am. Like, I'm a fucking redneck hillbilly. It was originally the PCW work farm. Adam said it in the Hall of Fame. He said, while we were waiting, which I refer to as Coastal Pro, you guys up there, while we were waiting for Zack and his dad to build us that ring, we went down there every Sunday and trained with Skits and Zack and PCW. And it was on a 10-acre farm with a pond and cows, and you had to herd the cows, and the ring was on the big basketball hoop, the big basketball court. And it's like, I heard people saying that, and I was like, no, I am a redneck. I am a hillbilly. I'm as close to white trash as you can possibly be. But you know who else was white trash? Eminem. Eminem was white trailer park trash, man. So I don't think where I'm from or any of that has anything to do with how hard I've worked or where I'm going. I've heard that the black sheep of the family, as long as they pick their ass back up again, ends up being the goat. And speaking of goats, Paul, being a hillbilly from Loma Rica, and I had a pond. Do you know what happens when you push a goat's head towards the water?
They back up. You said this before.
Damn right they do. They back the fuck up. Because I'm a redneck, I'm a hillbilly. Hold on, let me redden that neck up. Let me redden that neck up for y'all out there. Just now, you know who else a redneck from Georgia? AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. And you know what AJ said one time? James heard him say it. The original legend heard him say it. He said, I hope you brought that championship belt with you, did ya? AJ Styles, the phenomenal inbred white trash from Gainesville, Georgia. One of the best in the world. White trash from Gainesville, Georgia. But it just made me laugh because it was like the person that this person was saying this stuff about me, I actually don't have a problem with. And I said back to this person, I said, well, have you ever heard me say anything but kind words about this person? And he said, no, not at all. Even with what I've told you, you've only said kind words. And he's like, that makes you a better friend. And I said, well, that person's not my friend. That person is an acquaintance, and I've spent many years with that person in the ring and on the wrestling business. And that's okay, because I do not have to hate or bash on somebody just because they want to hate or bash on me. And I made it clear as crystal. You saying that I'm a hillbilly, a redneck, an alcoholic, that I've done drugs in my past, a little promiscuous along the way, a lot of dick and cum jokes. If you were to say those things about me, I'm not going to deny those facts. I'm going to say those are actually factual, but those have nothing to do with my kind heart. Those have nothing to do with my wrestling experience, athleticism, talent, who I've been in the ring with, and what I've done in the business. So bring it on. Bring it on. But going back to that is what I'm saying. Bishop versus Reno, right? That one, that's the marker. I went off on this tangent because we were talking about all the young talent. So what was your thought? I know, what was your thought when you put that one together for January 17th in Carson City?
Oh, it was just, you had said such great things about the last time that you saw Bishop work, and I passed that on to him. I said, you know what, I want to book you because of kind of what Zack said, how he prefaced, your work rate coming along and things like that. Obviously, I have the utmost respect for Big Ugly. So, I know that he's learning the right way, and obviously he's getting in the ring with with more experienced talent, and that always does nothing but help. And then I hear about you talking about the matinee shows and the training that's happening before. It's like these guys are just getting more and more knowledge, and they're getting opportunities to work on the basics of pro wrestling. And in my mind, it's like you're learning the right way. So that's, I don't know, it's exciting for me to be like, there's two young guys, right? Two teenagers that are passionate about professional wrestling, right? That have been training. Both of them I feel like have been in the ring for several years, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it's like you haven't been wrestling matches per se for years, but you've been in the ring, you've been around the business. You think about, like, especially with Bishop, it's like I remember seeing him when he was very young, toddler, and just been around the wrestling business. And it's like, how can you not learn something when you're around it so often? So it's just one of those situations where it's the opportunity to book two young guys against each other. And I'm actually surprised that it hasn't happened before, but it's just, and I'm sure it's just circumstances, because it could have very well happened at any of the prospects type shows, any of the matinee shows, all these things, they could have happened. But I feel like you guys, you and Ugly have been booking these guys against guys that are better than them, for the sole purpose of getting them experience with guys that know what they're doing. So you walk in there and you listen to someone call a match with you who's been there, that's got hundreds or thousands of matches. And then you go, oh, that's how the guys that are doing this at a high level operate backstage, right? So giving them the opportunity to learn at this high level with these guys that have been around, veterans with so much experience, does nothing but get these guys better. So we'll see what happens when these two young guys, like, what type of match they put together between the two of them.
They teamed up in a 6-man at the second round of prospects, like, because we did that first round that had Illumide made his debut, Jason Xavier was a referee, Jesse Garcia, Rayshawn Prince, JMM actually came out of that as the new prospects champion through that rivalry with Illumide. So that first brand of prospects, before that was cut short, really produced a lot of good talent that came out. And then we did the second round of it before it got cut short over there. And it was all those guys, but I believe it was Ethan, Bryce Kuza, and Bishop on the same team. He's going to be the best of them all. And I hope Ugly don't get mad at me for saying that, but I think Titus is incredible, right? I think Titus is incredible. I think Salem is great. I think, what I think of Big Ugly, but this kid is starting to get size, and he's got all those siblings to pick from that he's been wrestling since. The other two were wrestling since they were kids too and around the business, but now they became pro wrestlers after their dad. But he had his dad and them, and he's training with Oliver John, and he's working all over. And I just think that kid's gonna, I look at him in Reno, and there's a lot of talent out there. So don't get me wrong. I'm really high on Preston Price. I'm really high on a Chase Jackson. I think Nick Nitrain, I think he works incredibly hard, especially getting out there and going around the place. I like the All Day Crew, man. Definitely when it comes to those guys, there's Jules Rules and the Gator Boys and Timmy and all these guys. But I think Bishop, just how long he's been doing it as a kid. I think if you look at Bishop and find old pictures and videos, which I see online all the time, I think you could take a picture of him in his underwear as a 8-9-year-old kid wrestling a teddy bear, and then you can find the exact same picture of Ethan Reno as a 7 to 9-year-old kid dressed up as CM Punk wrestling his teddy bear in the living room. So here comes these two kids that have been around this thing for a very long time and wanted to do this since they were born. I think we're looking at, especially with all this young talent out there, Arsonist. I think Arsonist is amazing. He's been my assistant coach for so long, and I've been training his son. We have been training his son, Ramon, who's been refereeing for God. He's been there for 3 years, I think now. He's been there just as long as his dad. I think he was like 13 or just turning 13, and now he's 16 years of age, and he's debuting at Prospects against Sergio, and then he's making his debut in Red Bluff back-to-back nights. And I'm like, this kid I had to wait till he was 16, but he's been ready. This kid's been ready. So there's just so much young talent, man. I'm so excited that wrestling schools, especially me, because I've never been against it, but I'm just so excited that you don't have to be 18. I hear a lot of people say that. We got to wait till you're 18 or graduated from high school. It's like, no, man, pull them in at 7. Just don't let them take bumps. Let's not realign their young spines just yet. But that's why we have crash pads and everything else. But I'm really excited about that. When you said you were going to put that match on that card, I was like, okay, that's one I'm going to be sitting. I don't know if there'll be a monitor. I don't know if I'll be peeking through that little curtain like always, but I do know I'm going to walk out there and I'm definitely going to watch that one. And when they're done going over stuff, I'm going to give them my evaluation of what I thought out there. And I'm pretty excited about that.
Right. It's a great opportunity for us as, as guys that have been around for a while to watch that and kind of, give them some feedback, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of really great things that happen. There's probably going to be a lot of things that really need some help. So, it's going to be a great learning experience, not just for them, but for us as well, because, you get to kind of see the mix of what Ugly and Oliver John are training versus what you're training, and how those things go together when you think about calling a match, right? There, you got to have, obviously one guy has to kind of take the lead. You have to go, okay, here's what I think we can do, and hopefully they get on the same page and they go, hey, this is what we're going to do. Here's what the story that we're trying to tell, and I think it's going to be good. It's got all the ingredients for a banger, as you say. So it should be exciting.
I don't think one guy's going to take the lead in this is why I'm so excited about it. I think these guys are so evenly matched. It's like Ethan's a amateur wrestler for 4 years at high school, right? And that's what they're focusing on at the Ugly Dojo, is getting down there on the mat. Once you take over and you get down there on the mat, they're really focusing on mat work. I think both of these young men really like each other, and they are so similar in like stature and weight and height and athleticism. I think maybe a Bishop's a little more athletic, like flip, like he hits that tackle and does that forward flip out of it. But I think it's exciting because I remember matches with me and Adam, and I remember Malachi, and I don't know if you can attest to this, but you get out there and somebody so well, and you're so similar, and you're both so young. I feel like they're going to go out there and it's going to be an equal partnership. You know what I mean? It's going to be who's ever the heel. I'm assuming that, Bishop's going to be the H, and Ethan's going to be the B, the way we've been rolling in there. But I just feel like they're going to go out there with something to prove, and I don't think they're going to go crazy with anything. But I feel like they're going to. I feel like they're going to work. It's going to be one of those 50-50 even working together. Like I feel like they're going to be. I feel like they're going to really communicate with each other well. I haven't seen that in a while, because you get these guys that, I don't know. It's going to be good, man. I'm over here just rambling, about this matchup, because when you told it to me, I was like, oh, I remember Ugly telling me something he wanted to do with them, and I'm like, that's a great idea, because I just feel like those two are, and it could be the drizzling shits, you know what I mean? They could walk out there with all this hype. I'm over here just blowing the kids like this, and then I could be waiting backstage just going. But one thing I know is going to be for certain in Carson City is that the Big Ugly will be right there too to watch this contest as well. So just a lot of things that are exciting me about the new year. But I think this one's I'm going to call it right now. I think this one's going to be good, and I think we're going to see it in a lot of other promotions in 2026. I think we're going to see a lot more of those two guys than everybody else.
Right, but you have to think that there's going to be, they're both competitive, right? And you can't say the times that you wrestled Adam, you weren't trying to outdo him, and he wasn't trying to outdo you. You know, so as much as you say they're buddies and they're going to have a good one, and it's going to be 50-50, you got to expect that they're going to be trying to outdo each other. You know, who can be more impressive, who can be who comes out as the real, next big thing in Northern California pro wrestling. So I think that there's definitely going to be a little bit of that. I think that's going to be
better be.
Right. That's exactly right. You expect it to be the competitiveness between them, the drive to be the best, I think is going to be there, and we're going to see that. So you could expect them to bring out the best in each other, I would hope. So that's I definitely think, on all occasions where I feel like I was wrestling someone that was better than me, it was always like you've got something to prove, right? You got a little chip on your shoulder, and I got to prove that I belong in this match, or in their case, I got to prove that I'm the better up and coming guy. So, and then obviously, if that's their mindset, it is definitely going to lead to bigger and better things in the next couple of years, especially between them, right? It might be a one-off thing here, but it might end up being something that we can build on as well. And then maybe that is a catapult where other companies are saying, "Hey, I saw what they did there. I want to duplicate that, or I want to try something like that, or whatever." So hopefully that's what comes of it.
Well, me and Adam were always so serious. Like when we wrestled each other, it was very serious, man. Like we didn't just walk right up to each other and start talking. We didn't act like we were excited about working each other. We got in the building like, "What's up, man? Yeah, we'll see you out there." Because that's what you're supposed to say, right? "See you out there. Yeah, we'll talk later. It'll be told. We'll talk later. We'll call it in the ring. See you out there, right, pal? Yeah, kiss on the cheek." But one thing I remember the last time I wrestled Adam, and I always tell him this, was we were at the Oroville Municipal Auditorium, is what it was called. It was a big crowd that night, and it was last man standing. Taylor Gregory wanted that one so bad, and we did the old Brett Razor flyer, and it was me and Adam. And I remember I was so amped up for the match, right, that I'm in the corner and I'm pacing around, and they're calling my name, and I'm doing my thing and moving in and out, and then the bell, and then they say his name, and he doesn't even do his backflip. He just holds his arms out really like calm and stoic. And then I'm just over here, and I'm like, "Oh, we're about to get it, right? This is gonna be a fucking slobber knocker, man. We're gonna go for it. Catch as catch can." And the bell sounds, and I come fucking just wheeling around that waltz, and Adam's just standing there like this, and he looks over at me because I come around the corner so fast, and I stop and I look at him, and he goes, "Slow the fuck down."
So this wasn't the push you off the ropes into the over the guardrail one?
No, I remember that was the street fight where you and Luster and Dynasty were out there.
Right.
And Adam issued an open challenge to a Reno street fight, and I came out. Now we almost had the building sold out that night. That was a great one too. That was a hell of a super kick at the end. He was going for that fucking some type of a knee, and I popped up on my feet and blasted him, and he took an amazing bump for me like he always did. But no, we came back. We did I think one of the great ones we did was we did a lot of tag action at APW too, but it was me, Adam, and Oliver John in a three-way elimination match for the internet. The first fall was for the internet title, and the second fall was for the what was that belt called? The Galaxy or the Universal. So it was us three in that match. That was a really fun match too. But I think the last time I stepped foot in the ring with Adam to wrestle, that was it, because before that it was at APW. We did a lumberjack match, and Adam beat me with my own move. He beat me with the super kick, and I sold it like Benoit, and he pinned me, told me thank you, and then I was done at APW for years after that. But I remember seeing him at your show, at the show we did up there, and he came in, watched match one where me and Christian wrestled the Mexican guys, mariachi guys. That's right. But I remember I went up to him and told him, because I remember after that match we hugged, but we both flipped each other off. Like when it was all over, he lifted up the middle finger and I lifted it back up at him, and then we hugged. And I told him that night when we were talking outside, I said, whether you had hip surgery or not, if you ever came back in the business, I wouldn't want to wrestle you again, because to me, that was our send-off. You know what I mean? Two middle fingers back in each other's face and a hug in that same building that we made so much magic before. So I think that's a really cool thing, is these guys making moments like that. I was talking about that moment just now like it was yesterday, because here we are. I'm very excited to see, especially in my own company, in your company, what moments who's going to step up in the next 5 years out of all this young talent that's out there, because they seem very hungry, training very hard, and very respectful. And that's the thing that we lose in this. You know, a lot of good remarks everywhere we go about Ethan Reno, and just how humble and such a good kid and everything else. And you can give his mom and his grandpa all the credit in the world for raising such a good kid. But at the same sense, you know, I put out a lot of shitheads in this business, right? PCW has been a bad name. It's a bad word sometimes in people's mouths. And that's just because I'm a little white trash, I guess.
Well, and I think a part of getting better and things like that is the fact that these guys are not only going out and wrestling matches and learning when they're wrestling, but they're also coming back and training a couple times a week, which is just an opportunity to go, okay, hey, here's the things that I need to work on from the feedback that I got from this match I had, or these matches that I had, or whatever it was. And it's an opportunity to go, okay, hey, how can I fix those, or what can I do better, or things like that. So, I think you talk about guys when they start wrestling matches, right? They've gone through their training, they start wrestling matches, then they start kind of shying away from that continued training, right? Almost a sense of, oh, well, I'm already a pro wrestler. I don't need to train to be a pro wrestler anymore. Instead of the mindset of, I'm a pro wrestler and I'm using the training to stay sharp and get better and work on things that I might be lacking based off of feedback that I'm getting. But I mean, that goes back to things that we've talked about for episode after episode, and that's the desire to get the feedback, right? To go and have a match and realistically come backstage and say, hey, did you watch my match? What type of feedback can you give me? Be as harsh as you want, because I want to hear the truth. We have, unfortunately, you would think that being in pro wrestling, you're going to be pretty thick-skinned and you're going to be tough tough-minded and things like that. But a lot of times we're just faced with the guys that are just like, all they want to know is tell me what I did well, right? Pat me on the back, tell me how good I am, things like that. And you referenced Adam talking about that on the last episode or two during his speech. It's like, yeah, I know what I did well because I heard the crowd react to it, right? I know those things, but tell me the things that I need to work on. What can I do better? How can I become the best version of myself? So I think that's a huge key, is that you have the people that are eventually going to be really, really good, is those guys that are going to come backstage. And Nick Night Train, I believe, just comes to the top of my head, because that was the first thing I was like, hey, I don't know how truthful you want me to be with the feedback. And he's like, I need you to be as truthful as possible. He's like, I'm a grown man, and I need to hear your honest opinion of what I did out there. How did I do? What can I do to fix it? How can I get better? So you need people with that type of mindset and that mentality is the guys that are going to end up being, those guys in 5 years from now that are on the top of on the top of what we do. Those are the guys that are going to be booked everywhere and really desirable, right? Everyone's going to want to book those guys because of their mentality and, getting better because they seek out that constructive criticism. And that's the way that they're going to get better.
Yes, sir. Well, he is a grown man, because he's it's like Travis Alexander, a couple of these other guys too. They got started in the business late. They're 35 and older, so it is easier to be harsher. It is easier to give more constructive criticism to somebody who has a mortgage or a full-time job that a career they've been at for a while, or kids and a wife. And, it's a lot harder. Like I said, Reno got some harsh criticism down there where he in San Leandro, and he really wore his heart on his sleeve on the side of the building. And I let everybody else talk to him. I didn't talk to him. I finally went up to him at the end of the night before we were leaving, and I said, hey, you did a great job getting your ass handed to you. You know what I mean? Like, but to let him know you did a great job. Like, could you have done more? Of course you could have. And that's one thing that Dustin and Derek told me when I was talking to him on the side of the building, was you can just tell that he was timid and he didn't know what to call, or didn't, he wasn't comfortable letting us know what he could do, and that's just, and sometimes we're on here and we can be very harsh. We talk about being very harsh. And also we have to realize too that a lot of these guys are 5 years and under. And it really, I've always heard, and it's the truth, it takes 5 years to build a company. It takes 5 years to rebuild a company. If you stop or tear it down, it takes about 5 years for you to really find out who the fuck you are. And in 5 years, if you're not getting on an airplane or taking outside bookings at a bigger company or getting looked at after 5 years of doing this, then you got to kind of sit there and go, what am I doing wrong? Am I at the wrong place? Am I wrestling in the wrong community? Because it happens. Guys get very comfortable and content where they're at. And a lot of talent, as much as we, because we like to stroke our egos as coaches and guys who own companies and stuff, a lot of talent we teach them the basics and fundamentals and get their foot in the door. I gave you your first wrestling boots. I put you on your first pro wrestling match, this and that. I showed you how to run the ropes, hit the corners, progressions, bump. But a lot of these guys that end up going places, and maybe they learn a lot more, but they end up branching out themselves and getting out there themselves and doing it that way, because that's where you go make your own contacts. That's where you meet somebody that you didn't know before that's going to give you the job and put the word in for you. It's like, I don't know nobody in WWE. How am I supposed to get a job there? Well, it's not about knowing somebody right then. It's about getting to the place where you can get to know somebody, and maybe you don't know them when you get there or around there, but over time you're around so long that, that they vouch for you, or they like you, or they see something in you because they like you. And that's the best advice. Sparky asked me the other day was, what's the best advice you give somebody? And I said, go work for a company and shut your fucking mouth and just put in work. And that promoter, that owner, that coach, trainer, whatever, he's going to see that you've been loyal and on time and around and done whatever he's asked you to do. And that's how it was with me and Roland. I was there for 2 or 3 years just doing what I do. And one day Roland finally said to me, what do you think about the training? What do you think about how he asked me what I thought? I waited 2 or 3 years for that guy to ask me what I thought. I had it all right there. So the second he extended the olive branch and said, what do you think, Zach? I went, well, I don't know. Well, what I'm saying is we got to do, and I was, and I was in. I was in because I waited, man. So if you show up at a wrestling company and you just go up right to the promoter and you're like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I got this idea, I got that idea, man, we don't want to fucking hear that shit. That's annoying as fuck. Some new guy coming in telling you everything he wants to do and all these ideas. Get out of here, man. Maybe I'll see you down the road, but I don't want that guy. I don't want the guy who's gonna harass me with ideas on his first fucking booking or even his second booking. Like, show up for a year and work and just do what you're told, and then I'm gonna look at you because I'm watching. I know everybody else is watching if they give a shit. And now go ahead. What do you think? What would you like to do now that you've been around a while in this conversation?
Absolutely. Well, and I think that that's important for people to understand as well. Like, obviously, we've talked in the past about how we want people to have input on their character, and your character better than anyone else. So hopefully you've got those ideas ready when someone asks you, what do you think? What direction should we go with you? Do you have some ideas of who you want to work with? What matches do you think would be good? Things like that, where that person can now give you some input and say, hey, here's what I'm thinking. This is what I feel like my character should be doing, or I think my character could have good matches with this person. This is why, right? Have that explanation ready, right? Have your ideas lined up, and when someone asked you that question, I think you were saying, when should I start giving input on my own character? It's like, well, when the promoter asks you about that, that's when you start doing it, right? Because now they have enough trust in you where they go, hey, I want to hear what you think your character should be doing, or what matches you think you should be having, right? Because you don't want that guy that's going to come in and all of a sudden just be like, oh, hey, well, this is the type of match I should be having. And, that's a great memory of us back in the day when we had somebody wander into our wrestling school and give Brian the list of demands of things that he needed to have, right? He needed this much money. He was going to win this title in this long, and he was going to have a ladder match. And, his character only submitted if it was the Steve Austin way, bleed out and pass out and things like that. It's like, man, that's awesome that you've got all this story behind your character ready to go, but nobody wants that to be forced on them, or you just look like an idiot when you start pitching that type of stuff. Wait for that promoter. Yeah, wait for the promoter to go, hey, what do you think? Then you can spill all that stuff. Well, you'll probably still look like an idiot, though.
Well, I talk to you all the time, man. We want to pitch ideas to the talent. We want talent to show up. But if I'm pitching, I do it a lot to guys too. I pitch them a lot of ideas. I like to have call them on the phone and talk to random talent on the phone. Like, I just sent out a bunch of all the dates, right? I sent them out to like 15, 20 young wrestlers. And I said, take a look at these dates. Get back to me. and let's talk about it. Not look at these dates and tell me which ones you could make. Take a look at them. Let me know if this is something that you can be a part of, because there's a lot of them. And if you can, let's get on the phone and let's have a conversation. It was like, I'm not looking to go, okay, well, January 17th, we're going to do this. And I'm looking to have a conversation with you. Because if I can't have a normal conversation with you and we can't gel when we're talking about pro wrestling, even if I know way more than you do, it's not going to work out. If you can't commit to dates I need you to commit to. So the goal in PCW is Prospects, Limelight, Red Bluff, Oroville. Your goal is to get on an Oroville show because there's 4 a year. That's what it's come down to. Last Man Standing, Extreme Measures, Pandemonium. If I was there, I'd put my finger right in your mouth. And Off the Chain. Those are 6-7 match cards, 7 matches max. And that's the big house right there. Red Bluff is turning into the big house, but that's the place you're going to get on and to get on that show. And you're going to have to start here. And here's what you're going to have to do when you move into this sector of the company. So it's broken down that here's where I'm starting. I want to get over here. So now I'm motivated to get over here. Okay, now I'm here. I want to get on that card. But at the end, I want to be wrestling in a championship match or a big storyline that's concluding on one of the 4 big shows in Oroville. You know what I'm saying? So we want dedicated talent, man. But I like to pitch a lot of ideas and talk to these guys on the phone because you can, I just had a guy win the cup, right? The Prospect Cup. I haven't spoke a word to that person. I said, hey, do you want to take this thing home with you? He said, yeah. I haven't spoke a word to that person on Instagram, Messenger, text message. Hell, I don't even know if I got their actual phone number. I might, but we haven't talked about anything. And I had a lot of ideas that I wanted to do with that thing. I was hoping in the conversation I had before that putting that on that guy. And that's why a lot of guys put stuff like that on their own talent. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, you're putting one of your guys is going to win the Prospect Cup. Well, I know if one of my guys wins this cup, he's going to take it everywhere with him and we can do something with it. If somebody else wins it, shit, I might as well buy a new cup and they can just keep that one and we'll try again next year. So we want you to be on our show. We want to talk to you about back in the day. And we say this all the time, but back in the day, they were trying to run you out of there. And if they could get you to stay, then they picked up a nice piece of talent, you know?
Absolutely. Well, and I think you hear about that all the time. It's like, people want to know, like, oh, you think you're a mark for yourself because you're putting the title on yourself. It's like, no, I'm putting the title on myself because I know I'm reliable and I'm going to be there. I'm not going to call in sick or I'm not going to take another booking or anything like that, right? I'm going to put all my focus on this company because I have the most to gain, in winning the title or being the champion or being on the top of the card, right? Because I know I'm going to put all my focus on making the best of that situation. So I always think it's funny when people are like, "Oh, such and such owns the company." What a self mark, man. They put the title on themselves. It's like, well, they're doing it strategically because then they don't have to worry about the champion not showing up for a booking. So I think that's always important, and obviously that's what you want, man. You want to be able to put your title on somebody who prioritizes your company, and they're going to try to make your title look amazing because maybe they're defending it somewhere else, or at least they're showing up with the title somewhere else and trying to get eyes on your product. Say, hey, if you want to see what's going on, it's on at noon every Saturday. You can see what's going on, follow along type of thing. So I think that's the person that you're looking for, obviously. is the guy that's going to put a lot of emphasis on what you're doing and spread the word and make you feel like your promotion is important in their eyes as well.
Vern Gagne was such a mark.
Exactly.
Once I figure this out, we're gonna have a new sound. I think I'm gonna go with maybe an applause or an air kiss or an oh no, 5 minutes remain in this beautiful podcast. This ain't the New Year's Eve podcast. When this comes on, we're still going to be in 2025, and we're still going to have those New Year's resolutions. My New Year's resolutions, I want to get, I want my penis to grow 2 inches in length.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like how it went from this to this.
Yeah, I want to go
it still fits in the screen there, bud.
I want to go from 4 to 6. I want to hit that everyday average size wiener. That's what I'm looking for over here.
Gotta get the European pump.
Oh, it's all over me. I heard my pump broke. I heard that's gotta just be terrible with the colostomy bag, right? Can you imagine? My uncle before he passed had a colostomy bag, and every Christmas there was like 25 of us in my grandma's, and I'd always be like, God, I gotta take a shit, and I'd be like, shit, my uncle John's in there pooping with that colostomy bag, and you'd go in there and there'd be like drops, like brown little drops on top of the toilet seat, and then you just wipe them off with a piece of toilet paper. That's the worst when there is no toilet paper. You go in and you're like, and you don't even look. You're just like, I gotta go. And then you look around, you're like, oh shit, man, this is gonna suck, man. There's no actual toilet paper in this son of a bitch right here. I heard Tom Segura talking about it the other day. He said, he was doing stand-up, and he said, oh, I saw this this model. Someone was like, hey, this is a pinup model, and he introduced him to it, and he's like, whoa. He's like, for a second there, I quit even talking or listening. He was like, she looked better in person than she did up there. And he's like, it's just a rarity, like seeing a 7-foot guy. And he's like, and I've seen a 7-foot guy. And I'm like, yeah, no, I know what you mean. I have the luxury every single twice a week sitting here on the video with a actual 7-foot guy. And nobody realizes you're 7 foot until they see you in person, and you're like, Jesus, Calamity Jane over here. That guy is really fucking tall. It's like, yeah, he is really tall. And remember when you asked that, you're like, I wonder if I could just go up to someone and be like, hey, you're really fat, or you're really short, or your fingers are too long.
Right. Or too short.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I bet you can't get change out of a payphone because your fingers are too short. That's a dated reference right there, right? The payphone.
Could you imagine if we filmed you like as like a reel or something, or an Instagrammer just sitting out there on the street at 7 foot when people are walking by, be like, "What's up, shorty?" You know what I mean? Just like, what? Hey, it must suck in life being so damn short, huh? Can't reach up to the top cupboard to pull down the pepper.
Oh,
they wouldn't be allowed, man. You'd get in trouble. They'd be like, there's a 7-foot giant picking on me. It's not my fault. I drank coffee and it stunted my growth.
That's exactly right, man. But you just never know, man. What's acceptable? What if somebody can point out the pointing out the obvious, the podo pointing out the obvious? Am I allowed to do that in return? Can I point out the obvious? Looks like
Moto. Let's get the motivation up in here. We're at the end here, brother. You're going to San Diego, and I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna hold the fort down. Larry, let me know today. I'm gonna be there on Friday. I'm gonna be there on Saturday. Are you excited? I said if you could see in my pants right now how excited I am, Larry, and I'm ready for this. The lawman will be in town.
It's exciting, man. Nothing like the law, man. Keeping the law.
And ladies and gentlemen, for Zack Primetime Reeb and the Wrecking Ball, Paul Isadora, hit that subscribe button because we're going over. Oh, sing me a song.